All right, day 23 of the Love Throwing program. So for baseball players, you've probably thrown a curveball. I don't know, obviously I don't know how old you are, but the curveball is like the first breaking pitch pretty much everyone either tinkers with or they learn and actually throw in games. I don't want players to be throwing breaking balls in games until they're 14 or 15. So that's not what I'm trying to teach you here today or back in the other workouts where you're tinkering with a slider, etc. But tinker with a curveball. If you've never tinkered with a curveball, just tinker with it. Play catch with it. See if you can make it spin the way it's supposed to spin. If you've been throwing a curveball for a long time, you could try a splitter, or AKA a forkball, which is just another interesting pitch that basically just has some downward drop to it. I'll link in the description below to another forkball video. I don't have one on teaching how to do it, but the basic grip is just taking your fingers, forking them wide, kind of thumb on the bottom, these two wrapped around. And the goal is that the ball kind of slips out and tumbles towards the target, and it'll kind of have a slow tumbling spin. It will drop at the last minute. So it can be a really effective strikeout pitch and really hard to pick up. And you've seen pitchers like Roger Clemens and a couple others. I'm blanking at the moment, but it's a really effective pitch for some pitchers who throw it well. Softball players, I'd like you to tinker with the curveball if you want to. So the curveball it's a really fun pitch to throw. You'll be able to see it move. And if you want to tinker with throwing a curveball with a baseball today, go for it. If you don't, if you want to throw a windmill and you want to work on a different breaking pitch, that's completely fine too. Here's the basics of how to throw a curveball. And I'll link to I have a really long in-depth curveball video I'll link to below. But the long and the short of it is thumb underneath, middle finger on the inside edge of the ball like this. So like that. Index finger can either stick up, lay over top, just hang out but not put pressure, or you can put your knuckle down like this, and then we call that a knuckle curve, but it's really not a different pitch. It's just a place to put your index finger. The middle finger is going to be the one that puts the pressure on the ball, and our goal is that it gets top spin, spinning forward, and it's going to be angled at the direction of your arm slot. So if your arm slot is here, it's not going to spin straight up and down. It'll spin like this, where it matches your arm slot. But if you get that good clean backspin where it's not like lots of other spin mixed in, then the pitch should break, even if you don't throw it very hard. So your goal is to get on top of it, so to speak. You won't really get on top of it in slow motion, like you'll be around it and you sort of like right the ball. But your goal is to produce effectively just top spin, forward spin on the pitch, and that's what will make it curve, all right? Bad curveballs are when you get around it and you put a lot of side spin on it. So you don't want to do that. You want to think about getting your fingernails kind of to the front of the ball, even though that won't really happen in real life. That's a good way mentally to think about it, okay? So your goal here today on day 23 is tinker with a curveball if you've never thrown one before. Again, I'm not encouraging you to throw this in a game. It's not your new favorite breaking pitch. But if you've never thrown it before, just tinker with it. Have fun, play catch with it. And baseball guys, if you've been throwing a curveball for a long time, maybe tinker with a split finger fastball if you haven't, and check out YouTube tutorials to learn how to do that. All right, we'll see you in the next one.